A warm welcome to episode 19 of Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany, starting in 1935. We are in September 1939, and it's peace. Very peaceful. Oh, yes. I mean, a little bit of a tension with the United Kingdom here, but aside from that, everything's perfectly calm, except for our finances, which post-war, of course, are a little bit of a disorganized state. Now, good news. We have a battleship under construction, 21 months, so one third of the way through being built. Hooray. We have a carrier under construction, the Peterstrasse, just begun. We have a year off from getting a new light cruiser. Really wish I could build a second, but there you have to go. We have Blucher doing a tiny rebuild just to bring it up to the same standard as its sister ship Gneisenau. We have two divisions of lovely modern destroyers and a couple of old destroyers being converted to corvettes. So 20,000 or so in construction. Now, we've been through most of the easy ways of reducing this 5,000, and we only have a couple of months before we run out of money, and we haven't actually reached the bottom of the funding that we need to do. Our dock size at 48,000 is too low. Everyone else is well into the 50s, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to spend even more to take it up to 6,500. Eek! It's got to mean some painful choices. So some of these beautiful ships are going to need some delay, and we're going to have to be a bit reckless on tension. I'll just double check if I am happy, for example, to see, I've already got the Gneisenau there. Am I okay to put these two into reserve? For some reason, when I right click, my right clicking brings up the context sensitive menu over here rather than the point at which I clicked. Anyhow, from 6,500, putting those two ships into reserve would take it down by 1,000. So, not to be sniffed at. I mean, heartbreaking to have to do that, but needs must. And if I put sort by status, I now have one battle cruiser, two light cruisers, a third in the Mediterranean doing colonial stuff. The Graf Zeppelin, very much don't want to put that into reserve either. This destroyer, which is coming back from the Baltic to Northern Europe, I think it was repairing there. Some modern destroyers, and then a whole pile of stuff in mothballs. So sort of light cruisers and mothballs, the two lovely battle cruisers in reserve, heavy cruisers in reserve. I mean, we could put the Lutzows into mothballs. I would like to see what modernization options are available. So let's do that. A little bit more money. Every little bit helps. I can go to my air groups and my air bases. Now they are all reduced down to only 4 aircraft. If I put them into reserve, that saves a fair wad of money as well. I've kept the carrier active. So yeah, so that's reduced it down by 2,000, which is a help. But actually I need tensions to rise. So let's go and poke around in world politics and see what we can come up with. We've commissioned 2 submarines. Here we go. And finish some reconstructions. Nothing particularly exciting in the news. So that's all fine. So that ending construction and putting them straight into reserve has helped. So to bring it down to just under 4,000. Come on, tensions. Actually, tensions have risen with France ever so slightly. A couple more submarines. There's the Blucher. And there's one of the corvettes, so we will pop them straight into reserve. Improves range for cruisers. It's a very specific improvement. And nothing particularly here. Okay, well, that's brought it down to 2,000, which is, a considerable improvement on 6,500. So there's a whole pile of submarines. So that will help a little bit too. So I'm going to say no to the air bases. An improved model of our fighters. So let's just have a little look at what they've given us. What a prize to the first person who spots the improvement. It's all exactly identical, except at medium bomb loads, a 250-pound bomb now becomes a 300-pound bomb, and the heavy becomes a 600. So, I mean, better than a poke in the eye with a stick, but hardly breathtaking. Actually, it looks like we might get away with this. I mean, submarines, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 660 worth of submarines that should be finished within the next 4 months. Under construction, we have all of these lovely destroyers, each costing 600 that will be finished. So we might not actually have to hold back on our dream new construction for our new improved fleet. Wouldn't that be a thing? I may even be able to put some of my ships back onto active service, or the planes, although it's so peaceful. The French have gone back and the British have gone back too. Oof, pack tactics, always nice. And a new float plane, just what we've been waiting for. Right, well, there's a real winner this time, the Focke-Wulf 134 with a 259-mile light range. So yes, that's a big lift from the current Messerschmitt, and well worth having. And good maneuverability, reasonably tough as well. Unchanged bomb load. Not that we want them for the bomb load. We want them to be able to go out to 250 miles. That's excellent. I'm very pleased with that one. Any news? Any news? Not a lot. There we go. Monthly balance is now positive. Hip hip, hooray. Okay, I've been busy off camera reorganizing the fleet. So we have the line ships, the battle cruisers as the fleet flagship, supported as a core unit by the heavy cruisers. We have 1, 2, and 3 light cruiser divisions. The first light cruisers, of which there are only 2 at the moment, but soon with the new Berlin there'll be 3, are the Scouts. The second light cruisers are in support, although actually, given that there are only 2 as well, light cruisers have taken a little bit of a bashing. I'm going to make them into Scouts as well. The third light cruisers are set an independent role. There's only 3 of them. One's in Greece, and 2 they're super small. Hopefully, at some point, I'll be able to modernize them as anti-aircraft cruisers, but they're only 4,000 tons. We have the carrier, which is supporting the battle cruisers. We have the first destroyers and the first torpedo boats. So destroyers of 1,500 tons and above are proper destroyers, and under 1,500 to about 1,000 I'm regarding as secondary torpedo boats. It's just a simple way to make that division. Under 1,000 tons, they're all now corvettes. Those 2 are screening the battle cruisers, so 1 destroyer and 1 torpedo boat division together. The second is supporting the aircraft carrier. The third torpedo and destroyer is supporting the heavy cruisers, and the 4th destroyers are supporting, or screening, I should say, the light cruisers, and the 4th torpedo boats are screening the second division of the light cruisers, and no one screening these third light cruisers, who are kind of spare change, I guess. So it takes a little bit of messing about, but it will, in the end, bear dividends. So hopefully I won't have to fiddle with that organization for a little while. But it just seemed like a really nice way to be able to tell my really modern, good fleet destroyers from my, you know, come along and see if you can help out so-so old destroyers. January 1940, so probably time to do a little review of the year. So let's have a look at 1939. So we've designed a new carrier and a new light cruiser. We've got new fighters. We've also got new models of medium bombers and torpedo bombers, as well as a new dive bomber. So great refresh on the aircraft. We completed the build of a battle cruiser and a new heavy cruiser. We've rebuilt nothing, but we have refitted one of the heavy cruisers. We scrapped 27 trawlers, little 200-ton thingies. We had one destroyer, a couple of corvettes, again, trawlers, and a submarine sunk. We engaged in at least 2 battles, it may have been more, and of course the USSR is being forced to sue for peace after being defeated at sea and on land and with a new ally ganging in. This leaves us with the peace dividend of minus 182,000 in finances, which is a bit of a hole. It's not actually as bad as it seems, because you spend so much in wartime on wartime maintenance costs because they're all zooming around all over the place. So this reduction isn't as huge as you've seen. I've had to make up 10, 15,000 worth. So my funds are taking a bit of a hit, and construction has slowed down to 14,000. But I can actually build a little bit more, and I'll probably look to starting a new light cruiser. Our techs, after the previous year's awful one, has grown by 13 this year, so a bumper crop in 1939. And of course, all of this nasty orange and red and yellow has gone down to a very gentle little green, except the USA seems to be a little bit annoyed with Austro-Hungary for some reason. But, otherwise, all is good. Right, so let's go to build new ship. And we will build a new Berlin class. We will call it München, after the bravely sunk ship previously. And that's great. That leaves us with 500. Let's just go back and have a little look. Just sort this by displacement at these other heavy cruisers. The Gneisenau's, if we go to Open Design, we can see it has 27 heavy AA, which is, not too bad. If we have a little look at the Lutzow class, they're 15. Okay, could be worse. 22 tons to play with. Not the most helpful, but let's just have a little think if there's anything at all we can do. So, having a little play, the thing that we definitely can do is take off the seaplanes. We've got the Rune and the Scharnhorst, each of which has 6. So that's plenty enough for that. And that will give us 343 tons to play with, which I like. Go back to the guns. It's really around the anti-aircraft defense. So we're at 15. If we go up to 4 directors, that takes us to 26. And if we go up to 16 or even 20, that takes us to 40. From 15 to 40. Now that is, even if they never do a surface engagement, wandering around with 40 heavy AA is going to be a nice thing. So I'll just check that that's all good. That's all good. It's going to cost 1,000 a month, but only for 3 months. And then I'll do the second Lutzow likewise. So it's going to put us 500 or so in the red, but I'm okay with that. And that feels like a really good beginning of 1940 upgrade. Get serious. I mean, we've got 40. We could, increase this a little bit or something, but let's not worry about that. So yeah, let's let's get that done. So good. It's actually not 500 because you save on the maintenance because it's gone into dockyard hands. So good. I'm happy with that. And let's move into the rest of the year. Mentioned a couple of submarines, that will also help. And final 2 destroyers, which I'll just attach to the destroyer division. And new research area discovered. Wow. Missile technology. How groovy is that? Loving that. Guess what priority that's going to get? Okay, a new model for the Junkers 112. Yeah, actually, that's 20 miles an hour faster at maximum and 10 at cruise. 200 miles at yeah, I mean, that's a very significant upgrade, actually. The only thing missing is it can't take torpedoes at the moment. But yeah, that's a very, very welcome one. Okay, nothing too interesting there. So let's close that down. Thinking about the construction and where we wanted to get to, I thought it'd be interesting just to go back and have a look at our 1941 plan, which was to have a 4th battle cruiser, 3 carriers, 6 heavy cruisers, 3 modern light cruisers, 39 destroyers. So yeah, we're chugging away with our battleship. We've equally started progress on our carrier. However, I initially thought they'd take about 24 months to build, but because we build so much more substantial ones, they're going to take 31. So that might well get pushed out a little bit, but at least one of them is underway. We haven't started on the heavy cruisers, but we are modernizing the old heavy cruisers. And we've started on a second and have a first light cruiser well underway. So I'm pretty good with that. And we've built 9 out of the 18 destroyers that we wanted, and we haven't done anything with the corvettes. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Sort of going to plan in as much as anything ever goes to plan. Okay. And into March. Nearly at the end of our submarine program, Japan. I think we all know how this one might end. Japan is thinking about an alliance. So because the leader thinks that it'll be possible to save defense expenditure and it would be minus on budget and minus on tension, I don't fancy that. But we could go for calling an international disarmament conference, and that could be funny. If we have a look at the almanac and just see how many ships are building. So we have a battlecruiser building, as does Britain and France. USA has 2. So we could lose one, but 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're not building any battleships, but the Americans are building a battleship. I'm not sure. It could be useful. Noticing, by the way, that the Soviet Union only has 4 battleships now, so they must have scrapped 2 of their useless ones post-war. We are building 1 carrier, Britain's 3, France 1, Japan 3. So I mean, there's quite a lot of construction. Yeah, we would lose a bit, but we potentially could gain more by an international conference. Or we could go with the increase in tensions. And of course, increased tensions equals more money. But I'm minded to just see if an international conference. Nothing. Okay. Well, we made us look peaceful or something. Yonkers wants participation in international air. Well, absolutely. Prestige. Everyone loves prestige. Double the amount. wins the trophy. Well, there you are. Energized the nation and raised our prestige. Excellent. So, I've just back in the division editor, I've split out the heavy cruisers from those supporting the line ships, the battle cruisers, and those supporting the aircraft carriers. So, yeah, that seemed like a sensible division. 800 monthly balance, not remarkable. So finances essentially haven't gone up. Now, there's a lot of intense diplomatic stuff going on now. Now, of course, before I would have scoffed at the importance of having an Italian alliance. But now that we have a Mediterranean colony in Greece, we have a look at the almanac. They've got 4 battleships and a battle cruiser. And if we have a little look at the actual ships, we see that 2 of those battleships are 12-inch gun, 21 knot nonsenses, but 2 are 27 knots, which is nice. And they have 1 battle cruiser and they have a second which isn't showing because actually it's being built in Japan. So 4 fast capital ships is not to be sniffed at. The aircraft carriers are a bit poor. So yeah, 18, 70 aircraft. 70 aircraft. I'm not sure if it's 30 knots and 70 aircraft, which I assume it is, because it's the same class. That's perfectly respectable, and they have a third one. So, they've got quite a tidy navy. And if we were to get, into trouble with Britain, then that could be quite handy. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say let's extend it. There's no tension or anything cost. So, yeah. I mean, they'll never give us any technology advantages and things like that. And the Lutzow has finished its reconstruction. So just check on the news. Tensions with France are reduced. So the Prince Eugen needs to go and rebuild as well. Oops, wrong one. Rebuild ship. There we go. So that will give the carriers some decent air defense heavy cruisers. So I'm quite pleased with that. Ships under construction coming along. I'm just allowing the funds to very slightly increase and see how that helps. Now sailing regatta. So yes, we support this. It will reduce tensions, boo, but it'll increase prestige. Hooray! We've always struggled by being at the bottom of the prestige, and whilst I'm certainly not any kind of prestige up to 27 now, they are useful sometimes to be able to spend. So that's great. And into June. So the Soviets want to buy stuff from us and give us money. I'm going to say yes. I have absolutely nothing to fear from the Soviet Union. I think we've all seen never, ever. So, night, air search and attack. That sounds good. Coordinated airstrike management. Takes quite a long time, but, occasionally can be useful. I'm going to say no to filling up the air bases full of planes. Okay, that's fun. And into July. Unexpected armor developments. That's nice. Let's have a little look at our patrol aircraft. So, So my thinking is speed doesn't really matter. They'll always fall around on cruising speed. Maneuverability, certainly not. Range, I don't think matters. They're long enough range now that they're sort of past the point where there's a significant advantage. Bomb load could be interesting. Firepower, um, yes, actually, possibly, and toughness, possibly, because I guess what you'd quite like from your patrol aircraft is for them not to be shot down by enemy fighters or anti-aircraft. So I'm going to say toughness and firepower. Shame about the bomb load, but then, they get a pretty good bomb load anyhow. So yeah, I'm gonna see if we can improve that. Tensions reduced. Well, actually, with all the fun and games we've been having with the regattas and stuff, tensions are nearly on the floor. But the budget's gone up 4,000, which is a help, mainly because of economics. Anti-Japanese rebellion. Now that's the kind of thing that could have sucked us into something. And improvements in productivity. Oh, nice. Liking that. And the Prince Eugen has finished its reconstruction. Oh, the Japanese, they quite like an axis of steel. They never have agreements like that. It's all like, oh, I don't know, the such and such an air. It's all sort of geographically named treaties these days. There's no co-prosperity sphere or axis of steel or all that kind of thing. So let's look at what they can offer. So Japan. So they're very advanced. They have a couple of battleships and a couple of battle cruisers, 3 carriers, and 5 light carriers. So, that's pretty reasonable. A lot of destroyers. Wow. People have been building a lot of destroyers. I may need to upgrade my destroyer building interest. So, 2 of the battleships from Japan are rubbish, but 2 are very tasty battle cruisers. So 2 tasty battle cruisers and a whole pile of carriers under construction. So quite a significant force. Obviously, this is going to upset the Americans. So they've got lots of old battleships, 2 monsters, 51,500 tonner, and plenty of battle cruisers. So a lot of that going. It's kind of a shame that we didn't get a nice little disarmament conference to make them all get scrapped, but that's where we are. And then if we go down to the carriers, yeah, plenty of carriers. So it is, actually, let's just go back here. It is a fair bit. Yeah, it'd be kind of equal, kind of. Yes, let's rule the world. I may come to regret this. And another good development and another improved fighter with only the bomb load affected. So, but I say that actually the reliability will have gone from poor to average. So actually, that's the most significant impact of that. So yeah. So obviously that's taken the Americans up to 5. We've got a couple of thousand in our monthly balance. I'm minded to build some more destroyers, some more Z61s. Actually, I suppose technically I should just check whether there's something better to be done. So let's go to ship design. Let's pick up the Z61 and see if there's much more to be done. 8 5-inch dual purpose guns. It would be nice. Oh, the extra directors aren't doing very much there. Take it down to 4 inches. Nah, it doesn't make any difference. So keep them at 5. This is all good. I mean, There's nothing. So let's get rid of that. Go back to build and go to the 61s, and they cost 600. So 1200, 1800. So let's build 3, get those underway. And I think that's okay. So yeah, we'll come up to the late summer of 1940. So next time we will push through into the autumn and winter of 1940 and early into 1941 and see if this constellation of alliances starts to upset anybody at all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.